Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am Kay the Bookworm, and in today's video I'll be doing my top 10 reads of 2020, so stay tuned. So this one was super hard to do, not gonna lie, because I've read so many good books. I legit got out of my comfort zone this year and stepped out of my urban fiction world and read anything from contemporary romance to historical fiction YA to contemporary YA to everything basically in between. This was really hard. I'm not gonna lie and say it wasn't. This was super hard to do, but I did narrow it down to my top 10 reads with one honorable mention. So if you really want to see what my top 10s are, then stay tuned. So starting off with my honorable mention, I chose out of like 6 other books to go with Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. So this is my first ever book by her, and I was not disappointed. This book gave me Lifetime movie vibes. Definitely, if you know what a Lifetime movie is, you know that it's very cutesy, has a little bit of conflict in it, but at the end of the day, live happily ever after. This is what it gave me. I definitely could see this as a Lifetime movie. This gave me maybe like Valentine's Day, spring, summer vibes, the way the book was like kind of described. And it tells the story of Retta Majors, who is an owner of a bakery. And she goes home for one weekend and finds out that her cousin is dating her ex-boyfriend. Not only dating the ex-boyfriend, but at the end, realizes that she's engaged to the ex-boyfriend as well. So in Retta family, especially her mom, like her cousin, her aunt, stuff like that, is very one of those families that's like, so when are you gonna get married? Well, your cousin is getting married, so when are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? Blah, 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 blah. Retta realizes that two things. Either she goes to the wedding and not have a date and people still ask her why she didn't come to the wedding, why she could date by herself, or not go to the wedding at all and then still be the topic of discussion because people are going to ask her why she didn't go to the wedding. So over a parking lot spot, over her parking lot spot, she persuades Duncan Gilmore, who is the owner of one of the new gyms in this on the block, to be her fake boyfriend. And she tells her, hey, I'll let you have this parking lot spot if you will pretend to be my boyfriend for my cousin who's marrying my ex for the weekend. He kind of protests at first, and then he thinks about it and agrees to be her fake boyfriend. And a fake romance falls into an actual romance. I'm not going to tell you everything that happened, but just know that this book definitely pulled with my heartstrings. I didn't cry, but my heart was just very fluttering because I definitely could see this as a movie. And it's just the way that their relationship was like, from like the first quote-unquote date that they did have, was like, yeah, like they were super, super cute together. And the funny part was they even kind of met before that because Retta was going to be on a blind date, and she thought Duncan was her blind date, but kind of find out he wasn't. So thought that's really cute too. So this definitely was my honorable mention for 2020. So coming in at number 10 is Lies by the Gun by B. Reeds. So I got this book, I want to say late June, early July. And this was her first book as well. And I was highly pleased with it. I did do a interview with her on my podcast, which is Real Honesty with KayReenea. So check it out if you haven't. And this tells the story of Yasmin McQueen, who basically is very, very high established woman. She meets what she thinks is the love of her life, Kato, who is a big time drug dealer, and everything kind of goes out fine. They're together, living together, everything fine, until he basically flips, just like that. It becomes very possessive, very abusive, and very, very damaging to her, to the point where she realizes she can't live like this anymore. So she leaves and meets Kenyatta James on a whim. He's also a drug dealer, but he's kind of more of established than Kato because he has his own legitimate business. Her and Yada, nickname, basically become very close. They start dating and stuff. By the end of the day, Kato is one of those type of guys where if I'm not done with you, so I'm saying I'm done with you. So he begins to stalk her and calls and does anything to basically break up with Yada, for her to break up with Yada. I gave this book a 5, I think a 4.5 out of 5 because of Yasmin's her indecisiveness got on my damn nerves. And BBs could tell you, Yasmin irked me throughout this entire book. Because there were certain scenes in this book where Yasmin could have dropped Kato, but at the same time, she felt as if she was entitled to him, to the point where she couldn't let him go until it was too late. And that late, I'm not going to spoil it, but just know that late was very, very gruesome fucking scene. But I also did not like this book because it left me with a cliffhanger. I really wanted to know more exactly what happened towards the end. So I know that Lies by the Gun 2 is coming out super, I think soon. Don't know when exactly soon, but I know it's coming out soon. As well as she has another book called Smokes and Mirrors that's coming out very, very soon. If you have not been on her Instagram, she has like the visuals already. And I think some of the experts from like the plot and everything. It just seems like a really nice good book. So I know I'm going to get it. And you should too. But yes, coming in at number 10 is Lies by the Gun by Beach Reads. And if you hear background noise, my family's outside, so sorry. Coming in at number 9 is The Black Kids by KayReenea Hammond Reads. So this was my second ARC I ever got in my life. And I got it from Hear Our Voices book tour. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for selecting me to do the book tour for this one. This tells the story of Ashley Bennett, who is a senior living in Los Angeles in 1992 in the height of the Rodney King riots. You guys don't know, Rodney King was a black man who was severely beaten by the LAPD for, I think, a traffic stop. It was caught on camera, and it was point where his eye was busted. I think he had broken ribs, his jaw was fractured, everything like that. And they went to trial for it. And in this story, you get to see exactly how, at first, the trial didn't affect her. And then once the cops came back, found not guilty, that's when it actually affected her. She goes to a predominantly white school. She lives in a predominantly white neighborhood. And you get to see the transitions of her not caring to one of the being very concerned. Her sister Jo, who I freaking loved throughout the entire book. Jo was my dog. Like, Jo was my girl. Like, if Jo was living today in the height of exactly what was going on during the summer, she would be in the front of that Black Lives Matter movement, like ASAP, period. No questions asked. And you get to see how her sister gets into big trouble, and you get to see exactly how that affects Ashley, like, big time. As well as Ashley gets to find out exactly who her true friends are. Because she has this one girl who I cannot stand. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I did do a book review on my channel. I'll leave it in the cards. That she says something to Ashley, and that Ashley realizes right then and there that, yeah, we're not friends anymore. We're not going to be friends. As well as Ashley gets into a height of the moment thing with cops as well. She gets into it twice, but I think the second one is when she really, really, really realized this is real. And I'm in it, and this is real. So definitely number 9, great book. This book got a lot of awards. This is her first ever book written. Definitely plan to read more books by her very, very soon. So yeah, so number 9, The Black Kids. Coming in at number 8 is Shots Not Taken by Nicole Falls. So this is my first ever book by Nicole. I learned about Nicole through my friend Tiffany, period, because I know you're watching, sis. I am, like I said before, I was doing my book, which was a sports romance, but it was football, not basketball. So she suggested, hey, I was on Amazon, thought this book was you, I thought this book kind of will help you out with your sports stuff. Read it. Read it, fell in love. And I fell in love with her ever since then. So this tells the story of Nico Rivette, who is a big-time basketball player playing for the Trojans men's basketball team of Nashville, Tennessee. And it starts off with him losing I think it was like the playoffs. I think they're playing like Boston or Seattle or something to that effect. Really can't remember. But you get to see how his playoffs kind of like affected him losing, and then kind of enters Jade Turner. Yes, Jade Turner. Jade Turner is the best friend of the girlfriend of Nico's best friend. So like best friends kind of coming together, kind of like putting together, blah, blah. Their first encounter is really good. Really, you know, they feel the vibes, and then they have like a little petty argument. And then when Nico decides that basketball is kind of like over, he wants to go into singing because he has his whole passion of singing. He gets into a Instagram singing contest, and then he realizes that Jade is one of the producers slash songwriters, because Jade is a big time country singer. Well, she plans to be. She's black, but she wants to sing country and nothing else. And you get to see how their relationship kind of transpires from them not really knowing each other to when they get into like the house together, and it just transpires from there. Not trying to tell too much of the story. Just know this definitely is a great book. This is the first book of the Nims and Trojans series. They do have a second book, which is called One Last Shot by Alexandria Warren. That tells the story of the WNBA side. And then it goes back to Alexandria Warren on the third book that's on my list. And then it goes back to Bounce Back, which is also by Nicole Falls. So this is season 1. So Shots Are Taken, and I want to say One Last Shot is season 1 of the book series. On the Rebound, Bounce Back is season 2 of the series, and I believe they said that they are working on the season 3 of the series as well. And I really hope the 2 characters that were in the 4th book are like the main characters in the 3rd season, but gonna keep it to myself. But yeah, so definitely get this book if you haven't. Definitely highly recommended book. I think I did read this book a 5 out of 5 because it made me cry towards the end. And I realized Nicole Falls books make me cry. Whatever book I do get, they make me cry towards the end. So definitely highly recommended book. Coming in at number 7. Yes, number 7 is a spinoff to a book that is also on my list, and that is called Whoa by Alexandria Warren. So I've never heard of Alexandria Warren either until Tiffany introduced me to her, and I've I've read majority of her collection. I think I've read more Nicole Falls than Alexandria Warren, but still nonetheless, definitely a great as author. Now for Alexandria Warren, I do have a video that's on my YouTube channel called Sports Romance Queen. I'll leave that in the cards. So Whoa is a spinoff to another book named Oops. Whoa tells the story of Melinda Woods, who is the sister of Maverick Woods in Oops. And basically tell how she is a boss chick. She has her own boutique, living the dream, and her assistant decides to set her up with a blind date who happens to be DJ Whoa, aka Walter. Walter is a little bit older than Melinda. I think Melinda was like 25, 26. I want to say Walter was like maybe 30, 29, 30, I think, or something to that effect in the book. And from the first date, they hit it off. The first blind date, they hit it off. But at the same time, Melinda is a woman of all work, no play, while Walter is work, play, and other things. Walter could can set priorities, there you go, in his work when Melinda really cannot, because she's really focused on getting her boutique off the ground. So you get to see how the dynamic of totally opposites kind of come together as one. Definitely love this book. I thought this was really cute. Since it was a novella, I think I read this book in like 45 minutes to an hour, because right after I read Oops, I had to read Whoa, because it was just like, okay, I bought both books, why not read it? And I loved everything about this book. I would love to see a bigger book of Melinda and DJ Whoa if possible. I talked to her. I did tell her my suggestions, but you know, never know. But yeah, definitely love everything about this book. So this is my number 7. Coming in at number 6 is the 3rd book of the Nims and Trojans series, and that is On the Rebound by Alexandria Warren. This book tells the story of Kay Steele, who is a basketball player coming off his rookie season with the Trojans, and Blue Taylor, who is a big-time, very well-known sports reporter. Blue has this one rule: she would never date an active athlete. But because of a situation when she was drunk that happened in All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas, and you get to know a little bit more about that story in, I believe, One Last Shot. They kind of come together. Little switcheroo happens, little kiss happens, and while Blue doesn't remember anything because, like I said, she was drunk, Cage remembers everything that happens. And Cage is like, listen, I know you got this rule. I know you got a man, but I won't make you mine. If I have to be your friend, you just be a play on this, play on the rebound. And so I get into the game. I'm gonna make you mine. And he just so happens to do that because Blue boyfriend gets into a very, very sticky situation to the point where Blue basically cuts everything off for the boyfriend and just basically Cage just be there for her as like a friend. It's more like a friend to lean on until he really makes a move on her. I loved everything about this book. I love the dynamic between Cage and Blue. I love how it started off as like somebody that she couldn't stand, but at the same time, Cage is very, very persistent. That's one thing I definitely love about a dude. Like, if you're for me and you want to be with me, be persistent. Don't be like persistent to where you be over possessive or anything like that, but just be persistent. And that's what Cage was. Cage was very, very persistent of Blue to the point where Blue had to be like, okay, like this man really wants to be with me, so what's the problem? There is an age difference for sure, but at the same time, that didn't bother Cage. Like, it bothered Blue a little bit, but it didn't bother Cage as much. So definitely a great book. Out of all the 4 books that I do have of the series, this has to be my top favorite. Even though I love Shots Not Taken, this one definitely is like my top favorite of like the series for sure. So definitely on the rebound as number 6. Coming in at, oh wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's number 6. Coming in, I think about it. Coming in at number 5, top 5 is hold on, there you go. This is a series book, so I'm trying to put them together. And then there was You, and then there was You Too. I'm putting this together because it's basically like one big ass book by Tay Monet. I definitely talk about this book in my video that I did with her. I'll leave that in the cards that I just did. So that's like my recent video as well. This tells the story of a girl named Seven, who is basically a very headstrong, ambitious woman. She is in grad school for being a lawyer. She's in law school, and all she wants to be is a lawyer, nothing more, nothing less. But she's having money issues. She only works part-time at a smoothie shop, doesn't have the money to live in her apartment. So her neighbor, Britlin, decides to come up with a proposition. I'll give you money if you will be in a threesome with me and my boyfriend for his birthday. Boyfriend has to be Nazir. Nazir is kind of like, she's hypertensive at first. She was just like, I don't really know, but I need the money, so why not? Why not do something out of the ordinary? Seven enjoys herself a little too much, but at the same time, Nazir decides to enjoy himself a little bit too much too, because he's seen Seven around the building, but he realized like I don't think Seven will ever do this. So the fact that she did it really surprising him to where he wants to know more about him. Seven tries to keep his distance, but Nazir once again is persistent to where they just be friends, and then one adventure leads to the next, into the next, into the next. That's one relationship. Fast forward to the other relationship with Seven's best friend Leanna. Leanna is a big time, she's in law school as well, but she kind of has everything given to her, unlike Seven, because her dad and her mom has her on a very, very tight leash, to the point where when she rekindles with her love of her life, which is Bryson, who happens to be Nazir's not only best friend, but also business partner. You get to see the relationship form from the time they were in high school to now, and why it is damaged the way it is. And you get to see exactly why Bryson is the way he is with his current girlfriend. As they try to get back together, Leanna's dad spills a big time secret that Leanna did not want to get spilled, as well as Bryson did not know exactly what happened to why they broke up. And you get to see how that dynamic kind of plays out. And then the second one, it kind of just picks off from Seven, Nazir, Leanna, and Bryson, as well as introducing Deaja, who is Nasir's little sister, in her relationship. She is coming from a very abusive relationship with her ex-boyfriend, and she meets a guy named Jaheim, who is very persistent as well, and they kind of come together as one. So I loved all the books. I believe I think the first one I read in like 2 to 3 hours, like the first time it came out. But when it came to the second one, I read that book in like 3 hours. I think I stayed until like 4 o'clock in the morning because I just got done reading another book, and that, like, the second one had to be my favorite. I will love a spinoff between Deasia and Jaheim because of their dynamic. I really wanted more of it because it was just a cute ass. But their story was just so relatable and it's just really, really cute. So I definitely wanted more. And I did, like I said, I'm not gonna give too much away, but if you want to hear my whole spill out, I did do an interview with her. That's on my channel, so check that out. So that's my top 5. Coming in at number 4 is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. So I found Leah Johnson, I think on Nick Stone's page, if I'm not mistaken. I think Nick Stone did a video, like a little new author spotlight on her channel one summer, and she's talking to Leah about this book, and I was like, okay, cool. I got the book, I read it, freaking loved it. So this tells the story of a girl named Lisbeth Lightly, who basically is a very, very headstrong, I think she played clarinet. She plays a clarinet, and she wants to go to her super elite Pennington College. She feels as if she has the grades. Only thing she was missing with the scholarship. When she doesn't get the scholarship, she becomes really upset because she wants to fulfill her dream of being a doctor, to fulfill her mother's dream of her being a doctor. So with that, she goes to a school where prom, king, and queen are the top things. So in order for her to, and if you get into the contest, you be prom king, prom queen, you get the scholarship money. So in order for her to get the scholarship money, she basically decides to run. And while she's running, she also kind of falls in love with a girl named Smack, who also is in the running for it as well. And you can see how their relationship kind of plays out, as well as Liz, like another friend of Liz from like middle school, and he's a guy, and you think he starts running. I think he's running for prom king as well. And you get to see how that relationship kind of folds in dynamics. I love the girl-on-girl relationship. It's funny. This book is really, really funny. But at the same time, just the friends to lovers situation between Liz and Mac was just, it pulled my heartstrings. This book was so freaking cute. And the second book that she has coming out, I don't want to say the wrong name, but I think that's also a girl. I think that's also a girl to girl, friends to lovers situation as well. She definitely a new fan. To say this is her first book, I definitely loved it. I have a second copy. I don't think this is my signed copy. This is not my signed copy. But I have 2 copies of the book. A book that I brought for myself. This is the book that I did buy with my own money. But then I also won a giveaway contest from her. And I have this book as well that's signed by her. So the fact that I got 2 books by her, because I love this book so much, tells a lot. Obviously tells you everything you need to know. Definitely love this book. Definitely will be getting the second book that she has. I believe that's coming out I think sometime early spring of next year. So definitely, You Should See Me in the Crown is definitely my top 4 book of my top 10 in 2020. Coming in at number 3 is C.N. Phillips, and this is called The Nightmare on Trap Street. So, C.N., huge fan. Every book I have by her is signed. Every book I have by her is freaking signed. This tells the story of Ronnie and Ali Montgomery. They're from Deep. Then you have another book, Cedro. He is from LA, Kingpins, LA, as well as Sadie, Troy, and Ray, who are from Last Kings 1 and 2. So this tells the story of Ronnie and Ali, and they have a secret drug that their mother designed. And because Sadie saved their life in Deep, Sadie decides to take the drug in her own hands. It be basically one of the drug becomes like a very, very well-known drug. But at the same time, it's a deadly drug. It will kill you. To the point where the drug will basically, something happens to where the people get very addicted to the drug, and they will kill anything that's in their way to get the drug. So because of that, Sadie decides that the drug is very, very dangerous and wants to basically kind of get rid of it. The only way to get rid of it, though, is to go on Trap Street, which is a very non-fictional place where only legends go. You have to be invited to go there. So because of that, Sadie decides to go, but at the same time not knowing that there is somebody in the outskirts wanting this drug and not giving a damn if it kills you or not. This book was super cute. Even though it was an urban street fiction book, I love the romance because of Sadie and Troy. Sadie and Tyler. Why am I saying Troy? Sadie and Tyler, excuse me. And then you also have Cedral and Ronnie. And then you also have Ali and her boo Braylon. So you get to see the grittiness of it. Definitely have a lot of violence in this, but it was super dope. This book was supposed to come out, I think, in October, because it definitely gave you Halloween feels, but I think something happened, so it came out in August. So I waited and waited because I love CN, and got the book. Definitely dope, so definitely stay tuned because I got CN coming next month. CN is going to be on my podcast, Read Honestly with KayReenea, very, very soon, so I'm super excited about that. So this is top 3. Coming in at number 2 is the first book of the spinoff from Whoa, and that is Oops by Alexandria Warren. So this is a enemies to lovers accidental pregnancy book. This tells the story of Cameron Cox, who was very headstrong and basically all about her business until she kind of has a little one-night stand with Maverick Woods, who is a big-time Instagram socialite. They have sex, and she realizes that she is pregnant with his baby. And you get to see the dynamic of how have a one-night stand, and for her basically saying that she can't stand Maverick to falling in love with Maverick is really, really a very touching story. You also get to see how Maverick kind of plays like the playboy, and then when he realizes that she's about to be a father, all that changes. He basically is on his ones and twos and very, 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 I will say very, 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 very involved in the pregnancy. Even when she decided that she didn't know what to do, he said, whether you be there for it, I will want my child, but if that's not what you want, I won't be there for you regardless. That alone made me fall in love with Maverick. Maverick is definitely book bait. If I could have a mixture of him, Carter Jones from the Cartel, Ethic from the Ethic series, and Meek from Butterfly, from the Butterfly series, I'll be one happy woman. Like, for facts, one happy ass woman. Because Maverick alone, and it's the way she just describes Maverick, is just, just so freaking love. Definitely love this book. So, like I said, if you want to read Whoa, definitely read this book first, and then read Whoa, because it does contain spoilers from this book. So definitely read it. It was really funny too. There's a lot of funny scenes. So definitely this is top 2 of my top 10. And coming in at number 1 is definitely a book that I loved. A book that helped me be comfortable in my bisexuality. A book that really pushed me to come out to my family and friends. And a book that made me cry a lot. And that is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Joanda Perez. I think that's how I pronounce her name. I read this book back in January. And just the book alone was just amazing. So this tells the story of 2 girls, one named Audrey, who is from Trinidad, and she has to leave Trinidad because her mother catches her with her secret girlfriend, to the point where she is forced to live in Minneapolis with her father that she really doesn't know. And they transfer to Mabel, who lives in Minneapolis, and Mabel comes down with a terrible dying disease to the point where she only has a few months to live. And from the time Mabel and Audrey meet, it was basically love at first sight. Mabel falls hard for Audrey, and they become friends, and then towards the end of the book, that's when they actually become lovers. This book alone, and then the poetry of the book that came with it was just, oh my God, this book was, I really can't say nothing really without crying. This book was so beautiful, and I'm about to cry right now. This book was so gorgeous to me, because it really helped me with my sexuality coming forward and being comfortable in it. I don't know why I'm crying. This book definitely is a gem to me. So if you haven't read it, I definitely agree you read it. It did get awarded the Coretta Scott King Award, and it just, like I said, this book alone, I don't have the words. If you could tell, I'm like emotional because I really love this book. This book alone definitely like set the tone for 2020 for me, like for real. To say everything that was going on in the world before everything happened, a true amazing book, like for sure. So if you have not read this book, I highly suggest it. You read it. I would love to see it in a movie or even a TV show, at least. Definitely read it. This would not be the last book I get from her, because the poetry alone had me, as well as the story. So just imagine both of them together, freaking amazing. So yeah, so this is my #1 book of 2020. And guys, that is my top 10 of 2020. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This is like a 30-minute video. If you hear noise in the background, once again, I apologize for the noise. That is my loud ass family. So yeah, it's still holiday season around here. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below, what is your like #1 book that you read for 2020, or your top 5, and I'll definitely interact with you guys. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @KTheBookworm_. Follow my podcast, which is Brutal Honesty with KayReenea, where it is on all platforms. And until next time, guys, have faith, have confidence, love you, always be you, and I'll talk to you guys later.